What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Creatine back again with another story time. A bit of an interesting one, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, let's just get into it. So, to give a little background info, this is gonna be another one from back when I was 16. My 10th grade year had just ended, and my one buddy, Kyler, the one who threw the Easter party from my having sex at an Easter party, Storytime was letting me know that he was throwing a graduation party because of the fact that he was a senior and he had just got done graduating from high school. And with this information, I immediately went to figure out like which one of my friends I was going to take to this party with me, because every time I would go out to one of Kyler's parties, he essentially just told me that it was a plus whoever I wanted to bring with me, just because it's a massive property and he just doesn't really care who all's out there. So I ended up deciding to text my one buddy Dennis, who I've spoken about on this channel before, but in case you're newer, Dennis is one of like my really close friends that I've been friends with since we were like little ass kids. Like he's been here for a minute and I always love hanging out with him. So I hit him up, asked him if he wanted to go to this graduation party in like a week. He told me he just needed to ask his mom and he would get back to me on whether he could go or not. And sure enough, after he asked his mom, she said yes, which I was extremely fucking happy about because me and Dennis hadn't hung out in a minute. And so from there forward, we kind of just had this plan set out to go to this grad party together. And then we fast forward to the week of the grad party, the day of the grad party. So this was a pretty normal day. I was at my dad's house and just had spent some time mentally preparing myself and just getting some bags around because I had to do the weird swap from my dad's house to my mom's house after I got back from the grad party. And then at some point during the day, Dennis did end up coming over and we started just chilling for a little bit, just hanging out. I think we were watching some fucking YouTube, and then we both came to find out that our ride to the party, just the plans completely fell through. I don't even remember who was supposed to take us to the party. I just know that they ended up not being able to, which is not optimal because if any of you guys have ever tried to find a ride to somewhere last minute, it is not an easy task to accomplish. So me and Dennis are just hitting up a bunch of our friends at this point, seeing who would be willing to take us out to the middle of nowhere for this graduation party. And thankfully enough, my one friend, who we'll just call Howie, answered me back, and he told me that he would be able to come pick us up and take us over there. It would just be like an hour and a half, which I was completely fine with because we had some time to kill anyway, and we had some things that we wanted to try to accomplish. So I said, all right, thank you. Just like let me know when you're on the way to get us, and I'll tell you where to pick us up at. And he said, okay, bet. And I just ran the information by Dennis, told him that we ended up having a ride up there. And after this, me and Dennis got our things around, immediately went downstairs and told my dad that we were leaving for the graduation party. And then we just kind of left the house after this and walked over to my mom's house. And if you're wondering why we lied to my dad about where we were going, he hates whenever he hated whenever I went over to my mom's house during his custody time. It was just not a good thing for him. So we lied like hell, and we decided to walk over to my mom's house to try to swindle her out of some illegal things. And now, if you're watching this video, don't try to swindle any of your parents out of illegal substances or anything like that. It's not the optimal move for parties. So we end up getting to my house, and immediately upon us walking in, my mom is a little confused as to why me and Dennis are both there so early. So I told her, I was like, I wanted to drop my stuff off for me being here this weekend before I went to the party, and Dennis wanted to do the same because I think he was staying a couple nights. And then we started talking to her a little bit, and I'm just like, hey, do you by any chance like have any weed maybe or like something to drink? And she goes, Riddick, I'm not like supposed to be giving you things of this variety. And I was like, well, yeah, but I'm not gonna tell anybody. Well, now I am, but she eventually ends up folding and pulls out the fucking holy grail bush apple, which is the first and like only time I've ever had it, by the way, before they got discontinued and brought back. And if you're a parent and you're watching this, don't give your children alcohol for parties. Just don't do it. Yeah, after this, me and Dennis kind of just wait around for a little bit, like talking to my mom, and then eventually Howie texts me and asks where to pick us up at because he's about to leave, and I just let him know to go pick us up at the McDonald's, like by my mom's house, so he didn't have to drive all the way like into the trailer park just to grab us. So me and Dennis grab our little party bags with our bush and all our other essentials in it, and just walk over to McDonald's, and we're just chilling over there for a little bit, waiting for Howie to come pick us up, and eventually he gets there, pulls up in his truck, and we just hop in there and start our drive out to the middle of nowhere out to Kyler's house for the party. And after like 30 minutes or so, we end up pulling up outside of Kyler's house, and the three of us just end up sitting out in Howie's truck for a good like 5 minutes just talking to each other. I asked Howie if he's gonna come chill at the party with any of us, and he let me know he had to go do some shit, but he might come stop in again later. And then he proceeded to ask me if we were gonna need a ride back to my house. I told him more than likely. He told me that he got me for a ride. I said, all right, bet, thank you. Dennis said thank you. The both of us said bye. Then we just kind of hopped out of the truck and went over to go socialize with everyone at the party. I said what's up to Kyler, said thank you for inviting me. Then I took off my party bag. I opened it up, and Kyler's eyes immediately went towards the Bush apple cans. And when I tell you, it was so hilarious when they lit up. And then I just proceeded to take 2 cans out of my bag. I handed them both to him, and I told him they were his graduation gift. Then I pulled one out of the bag, cracked it open, started drinking it. Dennis started drinking one. And then this one dude, who we'll just call Carson, he walks up to me, and we start talking a little bit. And this dude looked a little familiar, I'm not going to lie. Like, he sounded a little familiar, too. And after talking a little bit more, me and him had kind of realized that we did know each other from somewhere. And we put 2 and 2 together, and so this dude was in a wheelchair at some point when I was in like 9th grade, like, and I had seen him at, I think it was the fair or carnival, because my state does fairs and carnivals and shit like that. And I essentially just randomly like was pushing him around in his wheelchair the day I met him. Just the most random shit ever. And we started talking about that and shit, and then this dude's like, hold on, look at what I got. And he pulls out like just these random ass fireworks, and he's like, you should light one off real quick so we can like get this party going a little more. And I was like, all right, bet. And then he hands me a lighter. I light off this fucking firework, and a bunch of people like just kind of start like forming a small little crowd around where this fireworks getting lit off at. And sure enough, it shoots up into the sky. Loud bang goes off, like firework noises, stuff like that. And we're all sitting there like hyped up by the firework. And then Kyler's grandma comes out of the house, and I think I mentioned that Kyler lived with his grandma at this point in time before, but in case I didn't, he lived with his grandma, like, out at this party house, and she came out and she started screaming about the noise and shit, and just started saying, you guys shouldn't be lighting off fireworks or stuff like that, like, people could call the cops, which, completely understandable. I just wasn't thinking about it at the time, and I'm sure that nobody else was. And after she's done yelling at us, she kind of just goes back inside, and we all just continue dicking off and partying for a little bit more. And after like an hour or two of us just dicking off and having fun, eventually Seamus ends up coming to the party. And after Seamus gets here, me and Dennis kind of start talking to him a little, just having a good time with our good old friend Seamus. And this one dude, who we'll just call Austin, he comes down from like this field area that Kyler and all of us would just go around and like ride 4-wheelers and shit on, because Kyler had a big-ass field to go ride a bunch of just vehicles around in. And Austin starts saying to all of us, like, we got the side-by-side stuck up in the field somewhere, and Kyler was not happy about this, to say the least. It was his side-by-side, so all of us that were down there, like me, Kyler, Dennis, Seamus, Austin now, and just a few other people, we started gassing up the 4-wheelers that were down there. There was 2 of them, so we were going to put 2 people on each, ride up, and hopefully tow the side-by-side down from wherever the hell it was at. And so I'm riding on the back of this 4-wheeler with this random dude. We'll just call him Gavin. And I think Seamus was on the other one with Kyler. And we're driving up to this field to, go try to get the side-by-side down. And we get up there, and the side-by-side's in, like, just not good positioning. One of the tires was like all fucked up. The battery, I think, was fucking dead. They had just killed the battery somehow. Like, it was not moving from the current position it was in, which was very fucking unfortunate, to say the least. And Kyler, once again, just wasn't happy at the fact that the side-by-side was messed up and just stuck out in the field. And to try and take his mind off of it, we all kind of just took the 2 4-wheelers and started riding around in the open fields a little bit, and then we all kind of just drove back over to where the party was at. And at this point, I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get into my phone a little bit. I'm texting this one girl that I was talking to, we'll just call her Lily, And after like 30 minutes or so of us just talking, she realizes I'm at a party and she asks me if I can come pick her up. I tell her I'm like, I don't got my license or anything, but I can go talk to somebody who does drive. So walked up to Seamus. I asked Seamus if he'd be willing to take me to go get this girl I was talking to. He said yes, and from then we went up to Dennis, asked if he wanted to go, because me, Seamus, and Dennis are kind of a little bit of a trio, you guys will come to realize soon. And then our little group of three just goes to get into Seamus's Kia to go drive to get Lily, and then Carson asked if he can go, which none of us were really opposed to. We just were a little more confused because none of us really knew Carson like that, besides me, and I didn't even really know him like that, but the four of us just kind of left to go get Lily from her house. And like 10 minutes or so into the car ride, the three of us immediately realized why Carson wanted to come so badly. Bro started dick riding the fact that we were about to go pick up a girl to bring to the party, which none of us even understood why, because we told Carson that I was talking to Lily at the time. But yeah, eventually we ended up getting over to Lily's house to pick her up. She had to sneak out, and when she got in the car, we sat next to each other, held hands, started laying on each other, the usual, like, couple shit. And Carson is still, like, dick riding the absolute hell out of Lily. None of us were understanding any of it at the time, and we, just kept driving back over to Kyler's party. And on our way back to Kyler's house, one of us gets a text from Kyler just saying to not drive in the normal way we would go into his house, like not through the driveway, to pull around back just so the lights wouldn't wake up his grandma or the dog, so he wouldn't get bitched at by his grandma again, which we were fine with. Seamus knew the way out back. Wasn't a big issue, and eventually we do get back out to Kyler's house, pull around back, and just go back to socializing with everyone at the party. The grade A Glazer Carson's calmed down a little bit, and not even like an hour goes by and more people pull up. It's Joe, who I've talked about before, my one friend who I think I called Kevin, who I've talked about before, and I think they were with another person, but I'm not sure who. And nobody really knew that they were coming to the party. Like, Kevin had been there earlier, but nobody knew he was coming back. And when they had gotten there, guess where they pulled in through? The fucking driveway, just right in front of the house. And like 10 minutes or so after they pull through the driveway, guess who gets woken up? Or, well, I guess who was already woken up. It was Kyler's grandma, and she comes out of the house, and she is livid. She's like, I want all of you out of my house. I asked for one thing, and it's not to be woken up. And we're all just sitting there listening. A majority of us are drunk at this point, and she's like, Kyler, get all of these people out of my house. And immediately after, like, I'm texting Howie. He's not answering his phone. I look at Seamus. I go, yo, what are the odds that you could take me and Dennis to my mom's house? And he responds back by just saying yeah. And if you're wondering why I didn't ask him if he could take Lily home, she ended up being related to that dude I talked about earlier, Austin, so he was just going to take her home. So me and Dennis proceed to thank Kyler for letting us come to his graduation party, and then we piled into Seamus's Kia, and he proceeded to drive me and Dennis back to my mom's house. And from there on, me and Dennis just threw on movies, and both of us went to bed from there. Not much happened after that, but yeah, if you guys like today's story time, drop a like, comment, and subscribe. It would be really awesome. And let me know what kind of stories you guys want to see in the future. I'm trying to get on like a really consistent upload schedule now with stories, and it would just be really helpful if you guys told me what kind of stories you guys wanted to see. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.